Hi, I'm Nidhi Singh, lawyer from NRI Legal Services. I'm here to address the overseas Indian community all over the world with questions on land and property and information. NRI Legal Services is a company which is exclusively dealing with the land and property issues of non-resident Indians. And there is so many inquiries that we normally have. We have now started to basically make ourselves more available on social media, blogs and other platforms, so that we can get a word across to the community and make people more educated, empower them with the right information, which sometimes they do not even get, even if they come to India, and that exactly is the crux of the problem. It all started with I doing a couple of series on YouTube. So many people later on gave us feedback that they were hugely benefited by their YouTube videos that I did, and that was very motivating. And I realized that there is so much lack of information on property affairs in India, and this FB Live is our next step, where we are trying to come up, if time permits me, twice a month. I will like to come online and address viewers' inquiries online. It's very important for people to be armed with the right knowledge. In fact, a lot of problems that we face on a daily basis, those who have properties in India, can actually be completely avoided if only they know what has to be done. These post the demonetization and now with the new changing trends in India, a huge number of inquiries have been sent to us on our website, and that was humanly impossible for us to handle. And through this streaming on FB, I would like to in fact address inquiries one by one, and I would also like to take up topics one by one. This is very much needed, the right information to get across. There's very basic things that people miss. They come to travel to India and they don't realize what they actually need. So my attempt is to empower you. My attempt is to guide you. My attempt is to make sure that if you have any assets in India, if you have land in India, if you have property in India, you might not be basically facing these problems as you are facing. And this is the attempt. I would like you, this is the first of its kind attempt of anybody providing the services to the Indian diaspora, and I would like you to share these videos. I would want you to like these videos. I would want you to basically promote these videos so that more and more people can be benefited. So this is something that we are trying to achieve through these series that we are doing. And
wait a moment.
Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry for a little interruption. I will take up once again. Basically, the series that we are starting are addressing all land and property concerns of NRIs or overseas Indians, those who have any property issues. I would try and build, if time permits me, I know the inquiries are huge, I would try and weekly...
It will come.
I would try and make it into a weekly feature as well. Right now we would be doing about 2 shows in a month. So basically this is an attempt today. I'm taking up the issue of succession certificate. This is section 375 of the Indian Succession Act 1925, and this was spurned by a client who walked in completely hassled and harried this morning. The brother was in Australia and one of the brothers was in Leicester City, UK. And when they came here, they came armed with a lot of documents. thinking that all they have to do is present the death certificates of their parents and the will and go to the bank and claim the money. Succession certificate is a document which is obtained and now needed by anybody in India who is trying to claim assets of their deceased parents. The next of the kin basically needs it, and the banks are not going to release these funds anymore without this succession certificate. Unfortunately, this is a full-blown court procedure, and it is very different to understand from people who are in the West, because I know how simple things are in the West. In the West, you just present the will and a death certificate to your banker for your parents' accounts, and they will release you the money. Here in India, it's not, and the reason is very simple. The reason is that we are the ones who've made it stringent. I remember but when I, about 10 years ago or 15 years ago, we hadn't even heard of this ever being used by the banks. Why? The reason is us. There have been so many impersonations, there have been so much of forgery that these checks and balances and these legislations have now become a standard practice. So when people get very harassed or upset, as I was explaining this morning to a client of ours, it's basically for your protection that this succession certificate is needed. So let's formally start. Succession certificate, a document that you require to prove that you are the beneficiary, that you are the right beneficiary for the claiming the assets of your deceased parents. Yes, you need a death certificate. You need, if there is a will, fine, that can be taken, but then we can submit it in the court. If there is no will, the procedure doesn't change. The very important factor that you have to note is that normally people say, okay, they have a will and it's not been probated, or it has been probated, now why do I need a succession certificate? You will need a succession certificate to claim any assets in the bank, even if you have a will, it doesn't matter. A succession certificate has to be granted. So you need to engage a lawyer for that. You need to file a petition in the court. It is summary proceedings. I'll quickly go through the procedure with you. Basically, we have to make public, as well as all the parties party to the suit. After that, we have to release a publication, in the newspaper, where we make everybody aware that this person is claiming the assets of such and such person. Does anybody have an objection? And if an objection comes forward, then the court decides on those objections. The evidence is led, and after that, the succession certificate is granted. It is about 7 to 8 months long procedure, all a court procedure. After the grant of the succession certificate, you go to the bank with it. On a stamp paper, it is permitted with all the sureties and the court fees and everything that goes in. You go to the bank and then it is released. So this is basically what it looks like, the succession certificate. A lot of people, they will draft their documents there, and they think that is all that is needed. No, it isn't. Like typically, sometimes the assets go to the sons in India, and daughters, they just write down a waiver certificate. It's not like that. All daughters, all children, daughters or sons, are a definite party, and all of them will need to be formally represented in the court to file their no objections in the court, and then the succession certificate is granted. It is cumbersome. In India, when you travel here, the banks do not give information. They create a lot of problems, and because they don't know, and even lawyers cannot. Nobody can force a bank to release any information. So some of the things that I'm going to tell you in this, for the succession certificate point of view, is preventive. So what is preventive? Let me take this. So first of all, those who have accounts in India, I would want, and I would highly recommend this, though this is not the norm. I don't know for what reason people are very scared to disclose information to even their own children about assets or bank accounts that they have in India. A lot of money, believe me, have gone because children didn't have the right adequate information, and the account holder just passes away suddenly, and all that money is now sitting with the banks, and the banks are enjoying it. And you'd be amazed that we ourselves have got so many inquiries where we've not been able to help because of lack of adequate information. It's very important that if you are holding some bank accounts in India, please make this information accessible to the children. Which is the bank, how much is the amount, the complete information on the branch. People didn't even know. People have come to us with as little as saying some bank account somewhere in India has some funds. Nothing can be done about it. So make that information absolutely accessible to your next of kin, to your legal heirs. Secondly, you must also try to get an account which is either or survivor with your children if possible. It's important. It will kind of avoid if you have your child as your participant or one of the account holders, it will really make your life easy if and they might not even have to go for that succession certificate if they have it. Thirdly, these days there is net banking. Try and get an online banking account where you can access your funds so that you can update your information, your bank account statements and everything. You can keep a copies of all of that. That is very, very important. Secondly, and another point, is that you need to make sure that even if you have a nominee, there is so much of confusion between having a nominee and nominees thinking that since they are nominees, they will not need a succession certificate. Here is another clarification I'd like to give, that a nominee is only a caretaker, and in case there are more legal heirs, sometimes banks do not even release money to nominees. So just being a nominee in a bank account, it doesn't work. So a proper, well-defined approach to managing your accounts in India is absolutely needed. Otherwise, you will have to get a succession certificate, and there is no two ways about it. And there are court fees and court procedures and etc. etc. So some of these preventive measures can be kept in mind about not getting into any problem after that. So there is another thing, that if there is a large amount, again on the nominee point, if there is a large amount, nominees are generally not released the funds. And if it's a small amount, what I mean is a couple of thousand or maybe a lakh, that's a small amount. Large amounts are 2-3 lakhs, 4 lakhs plus. These are the accounts where banks are not. Banks are actually very, very strong about not releasing funds without succession certificates duly granted by the court. Where do you file for a succession certificate? If somebody would ask me, it is where the accounts are normally, or even if you have a local address, you can even file there. So information handy. Your next of kin, that is your children, should know about your bank accounts. Renew your fixed deposits regularly. This is the other thing. Keep your passbooks updated. Keep your FDs, if you have fixed deposits in India, which most of Indians have. Keep them renewed every year so that you do not lose interest and they are absolutely up to date, so that you don't lose money. These are some of the tips that I feel everybody should know who are keeping bank accounts. Other than that, you should have PAN accounts, which is the income tax permanent account number, which is very important. Have your OCI cards always with you. It's important for you to easily travel to India. Some of these things actually can make things in a life a lot easier. There is a system in India which is not very, very transparent, and a lot of people find it very difficult to overcome that because it's completely opposite from the West. I would say stop comparing India with the West and make sure that you are aware of what you want and how to deal with these things. Generally, Indians have this nature of keeping things very close, not losing control. I would say that that is a habit that we all need to now give up, because if you want that your funds should go to the next of kin and they should go without a hassle, then I think you need to be a little more open, a little more flexible, a little more less controlling. All of these factors need to be put in place, and these are some of the very, very important points that I think. Other than that, I feel that on the whole, for any assets in India, you need to have a very, very proactive and a management attitude, where you need to manage your properties, you need to protect your properties. I've been saying this in various of my YouTube videos, that it's us who are primarily responsible for losing assets. For the movable assets, I've told you that's the way to basically make sure that you do not have. Even in the net banking field, it's very important that if you have a net banking password, a lot of funds can be moved if you have your passwords transparent, or you're sharing that, moved in the eventuality of your falling sick, and you can actually operate it from overseas, and you can use that without really having your funds stuck up. We have a client who's got huge amounts of wealth, and he's not able to access it, and he is in such a dire strait where he is currently, and he's got so much money in India, but there is no way that he can get these funds released, because he is the sole legal heir. But even then, his father's deceased, he doesn't have an ability. He has to go through this rigmarole of getting a succession certificate. So these are some of the things that I feel were important. We get a whole lot of inquiries on this, and I wanted that this needs to be addressed. I hope I have addressed all of these inquiries, all of these questions, and if there are any questions, I will be taking up. Very important, please please share these videos, make sure more and more people reach and can reach out, be reached out, and they can see these videos. These would of course be very, very beneficial, and I would now want to take up questions which are coming in. So there is a question here by Kunal Khanna. Hi Nidhi, good to see you. Hi Kunal. I have inherited a plot and some movable assets in India. Would getting succession certificate sort both issues? No. Kunal, succession certificate, as I've just repeated, is only and only for movable assets. You can basically get a succession certificate only to address movable assets of the bank. You cannot get your immovable assets be dealt with by a succession certificate. So I hope it is clear. So there's another question here by Sanjeev Shah. I have a will that is not registered. Do I need a succession certificate? Yes, Sanjeev, you need a succession certificate for sure. Will or no will, as I've just explained, a succession certificate is an absolute must. Another question from Archana Kaushik. My mother died intestate, which means no will. We have a plot in Lucknow in her name and transfer it to Anam. Do we need a succession certificate? For transfer of a plot, a succession certificate, Archana, is not needed. It is only and only for movable assets. So these are some of the very important points. And the other things that I would want people now who are watching this video is to send your inquiries. More information on this would be available at our website. If you have inquiries, you can send it to us. We would also be noting a whole description of this video, and you can then post us questions on them. You can access our website. There is a lot of information. There's a lot of information on our blogs. There is basically a whole lot of accessibility that we are trying to achieve, and this is one of our attempts to do that. In any case, if there is a certain topic you would like me to do or answer inquiries, you could just send in your request through email, and on the next video I would love to take those inquiries up and make sure that I basically address a whole lot of questions. But we would be doing devoting a section to each topic, and we would try and do it as frequently as I can, if time permits me, from wherever I am. But basically these are some of the attempts that we've made in the past, which I feel that have proved very beneficial. As a lawyer, I would want people to actually be empowered enough to prevent any problems later on. A lot of issues regarding land and property in India people are facing, especially the NRI diaspora, and a whole lot of those actually can be avoided if only you know how to. And it'll absolutely, nothing will be more delightful even if one person who has seen this video has actually managed to understand what it means. And also if somebody has sorted his bank account information in a way that his next of kin does not have that problem, because at the end of the day, hiring a lawyer means paying a legal fee, paying a court fee, making sure that and a hassle, of course, of sometimes even traveling just to get access to your fund. It is quite sad. So if only we are a little more understanding onto what is really needed, we can actually avoid a lot of hassle. And that is my singular attempt to do this series of videos where a whole lot of these issues can be addressed from your country where you're residing, and a whole lot of these problems can actually be taken care of if only you know how to. The other thing I want to actually stress is that it is very, very important for you to know that in India, it's not the same as you would probably prepare some documents and come here. We have very, very specific formats here, and you have to submit to the court or to the other agencies those formats. Sometimes people are getting documents made overseas and thinking that they are going to work. They're actually very rudely disappointed, and they then feel very harassed or feel shortchanged that they have made those documents there and they're not working here. No, they won't. You need specific formats from India. India is slightly regimentalized and it's different from the West. Do not try and attempt making documents there on your own. Make sure you seek professional guidance for that, for making those. The other thing that I want to also stress upon is the fact that it is very important for you to understand that yes, you can do a lot of things sitting there, but also you would also need a lot of information on how to do it correctly. A lot of people do not read, do not educate themselves, and they make very, very silly mistakes, and it's only after they've made those mistakes they realize that this was not right. So please, always when you're dealing with India, seek professional guidance. Make sure you know what you're doing with your land and property assets in India. Make sure you are aware of what is the latest law. There is so much now that is changing in India. There's a lot of cleanup drive, as you know. Things are changing. It's a little chaotic, but it will sort itself out, I'm very sure. Meanwhile, keep yourself posted. Read our blogs. It's important. Read a lot of information on our websites that we are doing. In fact, we are doing a whole lot of information dissemination through social media. Keep yourself absolutely abreast of that before you make a decision to travel to India to resolve any of those issues. And if you have any inquiries, we are there, our teams are there, and we would try and address them as much as possible. So for now, please like, please share, and make people reach out, make more people aware of our services and also of this video. And then they can write to us, they can call us or email us. Thank you very much.